House passes FISA reauthorization bill after previous GOP setbacks. So the FISA bill, which basically allows the American government to spy on American citizens without warrants, was a part of the Patriot Act, I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong. Please correct me in the comments. Was a part of the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act was put into place after 9/11, which is now why you have to go through all this bogus security at the airport. You used to be able to just walk up to the gate, wave to your friends goodbye, have a nice flight. Can't do that anymore. You got to stop at security right there. You got to drop them off and just stop at security. Say good luck. Good luck getting through that security. Don't want to get frisked too much. The Patriot Act allowed the NSA and the American government to unconstitutionally spy on American citizens. If you guys remember, Edward Snowden ran away to Russia seeking asylum from our very own government because he didn't think what the NSA was doing was American. And he wanted to blow the whistle on it. An act of bravery. I remember when the story broke, he was in China, in a China airport. That's probably the worst place you could be. Maybe the best place. I don't know. He's a very smart guy. He planned it out very strategically. What's going on with me? Got a little air in my chest. But I remember he was sitting in China, and we're all like, oh my God, is he going to get out? Are they going to ship him back here? Then he went to Russia. He sought asylum, and he's been there ever since. And that was probably a result of the Patriot Act. So here we are. We have representatives that we voted into Congress. I think most Americans, left and right, don't want the U.S. government to spy on you. I remember my dad back when Snowden happened. My dad was like, I've got nothing to hide. And that back then was probably a decent argument, right? But now when you see the weight of the federal government coming down on anybody that speaks out against them, I don't even want to call them conservatives, libertarians, right of center, freedom thinkers, freedom fighters. That's who they're coming down on. If you don't root for the U.S. government right now, they are trying to make sure that you never see the light of day. And they'll do it using lawfare, like Donald Trump and Alex Jones, who was like charged $2 trillion, like more than the GDP of France, to pay back because of Sandy Hook, even after he apologized. A defamation case, right? So the House is reauthorizing the FISA bill. And that guy right there that you see at the bottom of the screen, Mike Johnson, was the tie. There was a tie in Congress. He was the tiebreaker. And he voted for it. What a slimy shit ball. I'm sick of the spineless people in this country. Not sure why. I want to know. I want his answer why he voted for that. On the House Friday. Oh, and the reason I'm bringing this up, guys, it's going to a vote today. I think it's happening today because RepLuna wasn't there. And when it results in a tie, you can bring up a rare case. We'll get into it because this is what they're talking about. The House on Friday voted to reauthorize a key U.S. spy program considered crucial to national security. In a 273 to 147 vote, lawmakers renewed Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which is set to expire on April 19th through 2026. It won't head to the Senate right away. Right after the House passed the FISA bill, Rep. Anna Paulina Luna, Republican of Florida, objected to its passage. Luna requested a vote on the notion to reconsider the legislation, and you can only do that when it results in a tie. That means the FISA bill will not be able to head to the Senate yet until after the vote to table the motion to reconsider the vote next week. I think this was written on, so this must have been written on Friday, April 12th. Section 702 allows the U.S. government to collect electronic communications of non-Americans located outside the country without a warrant. It came under scrutiny among some lawmakers on both sides of the aisle and a civil liberties group because it sometimes results in the collection of data on Americans who are in contact with those surveilled individuals. They've been doing this for 23 years now. An amendment was offered to add a warrant requirement to see data from the Americans, but it narrowly failed in a 212 to 212 vote. The measure was supported by far-right just call them Republicans. They're not far right. I love how they frame this. Who is this? Is this Politico? ABC News. This is how they frame it. Far-right Republicans and progressive Democrats. Why aren't they far left? Oh, because maybe one framing is to make you think that Republicans are far right. Well, the Democrats are just progressive. who argued it was necessary to protect Americans' privacy. The White House and intelligence officials, however, warned such a requirement would cripple the program and leave the U.S. blind to intelligence used to identify terrorist threats and other risks from national security. And this is my problem with this. When has the U.S. been good at identifying terror threats? They just identified that Iran was going to bomb Israel. They even said, don't do it. And then they went ahead and did it anyways. This whole FISA program isn't for foreign nationals. It's for you. It's for me and the 3 FBI agents currently watching this video. The problem with this is they're not good at identifying terrorist threats, even with FISA in there. They can't even identify. They have access with this program to do warrantless searches on Americans, and they can't identify crazy people that are doing mass shootings at schools. If they can't identify that, how can they be effective anywhere else? They aren't. They're effective at taking down the people they want, and that's people like you and I that are fighting for freedom. While the FISA reauthorization passed with overwhelming bipartisan support, its path was uncertain earlier this week after hardline Republicans revolted and tanked a routine procedural vote on the matter. Wednesday's failed vote, in which 19 Republican hardliners voted against party leadership, came after the former President Donald Trump weighed in on the issue at the last minute. In a message posted on social media platform, kill FISA. Kill it. You shouldn't be able to search me or anybody else in this country unless you have a warrant. Why? Because you work for us, you fucking assholes. I don't care about cussing, guys. I have a loose mouth. I'm sorry about it. I've got a little dirty potty mouth. It's not going to help me, I'm sure. But I hope, I'm just real, guys. I'm just a fucking real guy. I wanted to go into it a little bit because Elizabeth Gotein here points out something. Goitein? I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Points out something I think that's very important. So, buried in the Section 702 reauthorization bill passed by the House on Friday is the biggest expansion of domestic surveillance since the Patriot Act. So, not only does it continue domestic spying like the Patriot Act did, it expanded on it, which they didn't tell us. In practice, that means companies like Verizon and Google must turn over their communications of the targets of Section 702 surveillance. By the way, the targets must be foreigners overseas, although communications can and do often include communications with Americans. A note, Verizon and Google, especially Google, is probably already doing that. There are so many people that have retired from the FBI and gone to work for Google, Facebook. You guys already know about the Twitter files. They were so big at Twitter, they had their own Slack line. Former FBI officials working at Twitter to ban people like you, me, and Donald J. Trump were working there. And they're at Google, and I'm sure they're at Verizon. They are in all sorts of communications. Why? Because they want to know exactly what you're doing. They want to make sure you're paying all your taxes. They want to make sure you're being a good little boy. Through a seemingly innocuous change of the definition of electronic communications surveillance provider, an amendment offered by the House Intel Committee leaders and passed by the House vastly expands the universe of entities that can be compelled to assist the NSA. If that bill becomes law, any company or individual that provides any service whatsoever may be forced to assist in NSA surveillance, as long as they have access to equipment on which communications are transmitted or stored, such as routers, servers, cell towers, etc. It gets even better, guys. That sweeps an enormous range of U.S. businesses that provide Wi-Fi to their customers. Wi-Fi. So Spectrum, Verizon, AT&T, and therefore have access to equipment on which communications transit. Barbershops, laundromats, fitness centers. You're talking about LA Fitness. You're talking about Planet Fitness. Hardware stores, dentist offices, and the list goes on. Apparently, this also includes plumbers. So plumbers that come into my house can report to the NSA about what I'm doing. Just take a shit on my chest already. Come on. Govern me harder, daddy. It also includes commercial landlords, oh my God, that rent out office spaces to tens of millions of Americans who go to work every day. Offices of journalists, lawyers, nonprofits, financial advisors, healthcare providers, and more. The communist takeover is real, guys, and it's here. It is right in front of your face, and your elected government officials are in approval of it. And the Speaker of the House is too. Don't let him fool you. Mike Johnson, I thought you were a good guy, but you're just a A commie like the rest of them. I'm disgusted, guys. I don't know what to do anymore. Do I have to move out of this country? Do I have to leave everything behind? That's another reason I'm making this podcast. I want to get this information out to you guys. I want you guys to see it for yourself, digest it, eat it up, swallow it, do what you got to do. We've got to fight back. Start speaking out. They can't arrest us all. With that being said, I'm looking forward to the vote. RepLuna, you killed it.